Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Excel. In this module, I want to show you how you can combine an if statement with a VLOOKUP. So on the screen, I have some sales figures for these people, and I'll just make this into pounds so you can see that that is pounds. What I want to know is if these people have earned or sold more than £100, they are going to get a bonus. So on this side, I've got a little table, which I'm just going to call data. Call that table data. If they get between 100 and 200, I want them to get a 10% bonus. If they get between 2 and 3, I want it to be 11%, and so on and so on throughout this table. Now, I'm going to use an if statement because if they haven't got over £100 worth of sales, I don't want them to get anything. So the first thing I'm going to type is equals if, pressing my tab key to open the bracket. So if that cell is greater than 100, comma, I want it to look at the bonus table. So it's going to be a VLOOKUP, pressing my tab key to get the VLOOKUP. So I'm looking at that, comma, I'm looking at the table called data, comma, I want the second column of this table, so that's a 2, but then I don't want an exact match. I want the true option, which is an approximate match. So basically it's -1, or you can put true. Close the bracket. Now you need to do a comma for the if. So that's what's going to happen if it's true, if it's greater than 100. If it's false, I don't want them to get a bonus, so it's 0, 0. And then I need to close the bracket on the if. Then I'm going to tick that. This guy gets nothing. If I pull it down though, they are getting a different amount of bonus. So if I format that to %, you can see that that is working. So less than 100 they get nothing, and greater than 100, so that's 112, so he's getting 10%. So that's between 1 and 200, that's right, 10%. He's getting 444, that's 13%. Between 4 and 500, he gets 13%. Now, if you wanted to add that up, you could then do a sum in here. So I'll just call this total. So that would just be equals that times that, and add it on like so, like that. Now that should just say £4. And if I pull that down, widen the column, you can see that this has worked. So they've added 10% on. Let's go for a 10% so I can work that out in my head. So 10% of that has been added onto this. Now if you wanted to know what that was in terms of what is 10%, you could just do a sum like this. So it's going to be equals that times that. So that'll be nothing because I haven't got any figures there. But if I pull that down, that should start working it out. So it's telling you that £11.20 is sort of 10% of that. So £11.20 onto that is 1, 2, 3, 20. So that's basically giving you what it's adding on. So I'll just call that added. So basically that's all I want to talk about in this little video, how you can use the if statement with a VLOOKUP to pull off a bonus from a table. So hopefully that information is of use. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you on the next one.